Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dottotech on YouTube Live. I am Steve Dotto. Looking forward to spending some time with you guys today. This is the first of our Ask Me Anything kind of weekly reviews in technology that I am hoping becomes a popular part of the channel. So things that I think that we'll be spend some time chatting about today, if you're interested. We want to talk a little bit about what the news is in the world of technology, catching up on things, stuff that's maybe not as is worthy of a dedicated video on the channel, but stuff that's interesting. For example, we're going to talk a little bit about all the stuff that happened at the Google I/O conference today. An interesting industry report. Next week, I think on the show, I'll try using an outside service. I'll probably try using Ecamm Live in order to in order to do this. There's Liz. Liz, are you working today? I thought you weren't working today. That's good that you're here. Hi, Liz. Hello, John. How are you doing? Warner from Maryland. How are you doing? Daryl's there. Good. Hey, this is good. So this is the first time I've tried a YouTube Live. So I guess everybody who's subscribed to our channel got notice that this is coming, and I see you guys are all kind of jumping on. That's great. There's Nick from Seattle. How are you doing? And Michael from Calgary, or Mitch from Calgary. Mitch from Calgary. How are you doing? Mike from Camberley, England. Liz, you're sitting in front of the TV now. Well, that's okay. Liz does all of the graphics design, by the way. Liz is the person who's responsible for the entire refresh of the Dottotech brand that has done so well. And she also edits our videos, and she also designed the new website. So Liz does so much. But I'm glad that she's relaxing now, because you guys are 8 hours ahead. So it's 7 o'clock at night or so for you guys in London. Or in England. So there you go. It's been a fascinating couple of weeks. For me, those of you that follow the channel know that I got married 10 days ago or so, which was great. It was an awesome wedding. It was the best wedding that I don't remember my first wedding all that well, but it was the best wedding I've done in the last 20 years. Let's say that. But then hot on the heels of getting married, Farley, our dog, who is a going concern, he just had knee surgery 3 weeks ago. He ate a rag that got stuck in his stomach, and he had to have surgery again. So the poor guy has gone through surgery twice in 3 weeks. Poor Steve's had to pay for surgery twice in 3 weeks, but he's home with us now, and he's doing okay. But oh my gosh, it's an ongoing thing with Farley. But he's with a topic that I've created, and so I don't really open it up for things that you guys might be interested in. So this concept of doing a weekly live stream on YouTube is really to get you guys a little bit more engaged in the channel, a little more ownership over what sort of content we're creating, and to answer the questions that might not be relating to the topics that we're covering every week on our weekly webinars or that I cover in the vlog, for instance. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what you guys are asking about. And I'll do the best to answer the questions as best I can. We'll try and keep it to maybe 45 minutes. I don't know what the sweet spot is for these sorts of things, but half an hour to an hour, it seems to me something that's going to be good. So we'll give it a shot. Be interesting to also see how this tool works, this new camera tool that YouTube has released, versus the kind of the classic way of doing YouTube Live using a third-party service like Ecamm, and then flowing it through that. And to be honest, I'm still getting my head around YouTube Live. I don't even know where to look on my channel for my feed. I set up an anonymous browser session, and it's not even saying that the YouTube Live is running on my channel right now, which is interesting to somebody that just drops in on the channel. So I guess it's only for people that are subscribed to the channel. Gonna have to find out how we use this for organic growth as well. Oh no, now it's there. It's there. Oh, I see it now. I refreshed. Maybe that's what I should have done, is refreshed. All right. Before I get too running ahead, let me take a look here at the questions you guys have. So Samantha Rosenthal, how the heck are you? Best audience participation software, Meet2 or Slido? I don't even know what that is. What is audience participation software? It's not something that I know. I'll take a look into it, but it's I wish I don't have an answer. Meet2 or Slido. Now, is this software that allows you to replace like chat in a live event? Is that the sort of thing that we're talking about? I'd love to, I'll look forward to some feedback on that, but I will make a note of that. I'm going to take a look at Me Too. How many E's are there? 1, 2 E's. Me Too. And I promise I'll look at it after the live stream today. Slido. SLI.do. Okay, we'll have to take a look at that. Hey, Oliver from Canada. Okay. Samsam ransomware. I haven't heard too much about the Samsam ransomware attack, John, but of course the ransomware attacks are going on. And the scary thing that I've seen in what I've been kind of following and watching on these ransomware attacks is it seems to me. Oh, I see that I should have done it that way. Okay, I started another session other than the one that I'd scheduled. That's interesting. Okay, it seems to me that these ransomware attacks tend to work. People pay them off rather than I think a lot of larger enterprises and like cities and some of the bigger enterprises are actually pay off the people who do the ransomwares, which is terrifying when you stop and think about it. Darcy, do you think a YouTube channel can not have a niche? That's a really good question, Daryl. As we've been reinventing the channel here, we've been going through a bit of a voyage of discovery. And one of the things now I hired an outside consultant to help me with the YouTube channel as I decided that I wanted to kind of take it to the next level. And we always did pretty much just how-to stuff. And one of the things that they suggested to us was that we not just use the channel, that we include the weekly vlog or a vlog, which is a lot more personal information about what's going on in my life. And my thought was, and I was wondering whether or not that should be in a separate channel, because I'll talk about the wedding. The last vlog we did was a recap of the wedding. It's got nothing to do with tech and productivity and stuff that I've done historically on the channel. But the thought was that I think the way that social media is evolving is the community wants more and more access to the individuals, and they kind of want more of a relationship with everybody as they're kind of supporting in the online space. So consequently, you can diversify a little bit, and you can have a channel that covers multiple topics. Now, I have had some criticism of people saying that they don't want to see that kind of stuff on the channel. They just, if I keep posting things like vlogs, they're going to unsubscribe. And I respect that. I totally get that. But we also have playlists. So you can demark your content in your channel by playlist. And people don't have to watch every video that you upload. The notification of subscription, if people find that irritating, there's not much you can do about that. But I think overall, to create proper momentum and support behind a channel, that you can have a not necessarily 100% focused channel, especially if your channel is personality driven. If you just do reviews, say, of products, or you teach a topic that you actually don't appear on screen necessarily yourself, but it's, that you're kind of disconnected, your personality is disconnected from the channel, and you have one topic that is talking about, I don't know, let's pull a couple topics out of there, scrapbooking, and another one that's about cooking, and they're completely disconnected and there's no common thread that ties them together, I would say it's probably not going to work. It's not going to be effective because it'll be confusing. But as long as there's a common thread that ties the different products together, the different elements that you're doing together, for example, the personality, myself in my particular case, then I think it's going to be successful. And I'm certainly getting the feeling that the channel is becoming more vibrant as we've added more layers and more personality. So that's, I hope that helps. Now, I'm going to apologize. I'm getting used to doing the chat here. And if I miss the questions, I'll do the best to read all of the questions as I go through. But if I miss your question, I apologize. Maybe you can put it again down below as well, if I haven't answered it. Okay, so let me grab the next question that I can see obviously here. James, let's see what you have to say. James Cleam, what do you think is the best organizational tool that works on organizational tool? I think you're a task organizational tool that works best on desktop and mobile. Okay, that's really interesting because right now I'm working on a new demo for what I don't think is the best organizational tool, but I do think it's a pretty cool tool. Is I've finally started to do a full demo on Google Keep, which I'm really impressed with. you all know that I am a huge fan of Evernote. And I think Evernote, if you are going to build a system, Evernote gives the most flexibility to build a system around Evernote. And so it's the kind of the command central for all of my content, all of my data that I work with. But having said that, the tool that I think we rely on the most to keep our projects moving ahead, from a task base and in actual production based, is Asana. We use Asana here on Dottotech. It's free for some just incredible features and a reasonable number of people. But it's a really powerful, and they've got, Asana used to just be list based, but they've added the ability to create boards, and the boards makes it a very Kanban. So it's very similar at that point to Trello in the layout. But that tool for us has been, I think I don't think we would be where we are today without having implemented it. Now, we were fortunate. Just as we were building out our team, Asana released the new version. So I was diving into it to look at it for a demo anyways. I don't think it's better than a Trello or better than another tool in that particular case, but it does work for us. And one thing I will point out is, once you've done a little bit of research or a lot of research and you've looked at whatever tool it is that you're thinking about using, once you decide on a tool, don't keep looking at the other tools. Instead, invest your energy and time in learning to use the tool that you've chosen to its maximum. Because there's always going to be some things it doesn't do as well, and there's always going to be some things that do better. But once you've chosen a tool, now I don't care if this is a CRM tool that you're using, or your email tool, or your note-taking tool, or your task manager. It's then your responsibility to learn how to use that tool best and to really master that tool. And if you do that, you're going to get the most benefit out of it. But if you keep jumping from tool to tool or looking at other tools, then you won't benefit. The benefit won't be there, and ultimately, I think you end up just basically losing time, and they end up being a little bit of a negative. So that's kind of one overriding thing. But if you are interested, iOS, Android, desktop, mobile, Asana is a great place to start. Other ones are going to be good as well. And some people might mention what they like as well, and see if you like the feel of it. You might some people like Trello better. They like the feel of it. Some people like Asana better. Some people like Todoist better. They're all gonna do the job if you invest in building a system around them. Okay, Holly Norman Music. Could you do some tutorials for musicians on how to grow their YouTube channel, or would you recommend a YouTuber to watch? What a great question for musicians. We're going to be doing, coming up in about 2 weeks on Webinar Wednesday, we're going to be doing a Patreon talk where we talk about using Patreon for monetization. And I think that's really relevant for YouTubers. So that's just kind of, or for musicians, that's an aside. But for musicians growing their channel, I would recommend, certainly guys, people like, Roberto Blake. Roberto would be a good one. I think if you follow somebody, Roberto would be one that I would start with. And let me think. Let me just take a look at who I'm following here. Just give me a half a second here. I'm going to take a look at who I follow because I'm drawing a blank on the names. So let me just go to my channel here. No, I want to there we go to there. Just going to take a look. Oh, okay. Who else? Jeremy Vest, of course, who is our consultant that helped us out so much with ours. And Jeremy's doing a whole new series that kind of helps things grow. Daryl Eves. Daryl Eves has some just great content on all of this, on growing your YouTube channel. So those would be three places. Those are three people who and Tim Schmoyer. Those are all YouTube creators or YouTube advisors that I read all of their content and take into account what they are teaching, and they've been a blessing to me. They've really helped me out along. So good luck with that, Holly Norman Music. Let us know how you're doing. Oh, Liz says, let's talk about Google Assistant Duplex. Did that scare the pants off you? So those of you that have missed this, there's a bit of fear. And to be honest, to be fair, Google's put out a little bit of fire today with some announcements that they put out. But Google showed a lot of people don't necessarily know how the whole Google ecosystem works, but part of the Google ecosystem is the Google Assistant, which is all of their artificial intelligence that's in the background. It's the thing that works if you're using your Google Home or you're doing the OK Google stuff on your smartphone. And so the Google Assistant is this kind of artificial intelligence engine that they're using for a variety of different places. And they were showing how it can really affect your productivity, personal productivity, by acting as a true personal assistant. And they had it make a phone call to a hair salon. They showed it. And the Google Assistant had a conversation with the receptionist at the hair salon to make an appointment for a person. And they went through a negotiation effectively, because they had to find a time that worked, et cetera. And the person had to discover, and the salon had to discover exactly what services were that Google Assistant was looking for. And the Google Assistant was terrifying if you listen to it, because it put on human affectation. That's it. It would go as it was thinking. So it was eerily realistic. And if you were on the other end of the line, there would be a very good chance that you were just speaking with somebody that was a little bit not a tremendous personality, but you're somebody that was a little structured in their approach. Not really conversational. But it could definitely have passed as a real person. And it scared the pants off of me as I looked at that and recognized that all of a sudden, how are we going to identify when we have a robot reaching out to us and connecting with us, or when we make a phone call to a company? We're all used to using VIR system, the voice interactive response system. Press 6 for that, press that for that, because when you're talking to a machine. But if the machine seems real, how do what's the responsibility going to be to let people know? Now, Google's since come out, because there's been a furor over this. They've since come out and said that they recognize that they're going to have some sort of a notification system to let people know, which is, how they invoke that is going to be tremendously important. I don't have a lot of confidence in our major software vendors for coming out with a tool that necessarily is socially the most responsible, as opposed to economically the most potential. If this was Facebook bringing this out, I'd be even more scared. But I don't have a lot of confidence that Google's going to do it right either. I think it's going to be up to us to demand. And that's one of the reasons that I, especially like with my generation, that I sit there and I spend so much time encouraging everybody that I know to not walk away from technology, even if it makes you uncomfortable, but to embrace it and to gain ownership over it, to add a voice in it, because it's going to be our voices that are going to make a difference in how this evolves. And this is a prime example. This has the potential. If we look at what happened with this last cycle of fake news that we've faced over the last 3 years, can you imagine if it's phone calls being made by a robot that's just really automated to help form public opinion or something like that? Oh, it's mind-blowingly scary. So there's lots of comments. Okay, let's take a look here. And I'm just seeing what's update. It says at Dottotech, if you could have any voice on your digital assistant, which voice would you choose? That was something that they commented on, is that you could probably have celebrity voices doing your thing. Bobcat Goldthwait. That's who I'd want. I'd go for the Bobcat. I think that would be the voice that I'd want for myself. What do you think of that one? Who do you want? I'd love to see who you guys want. That's good. Good question. Okay. Let's get in there. Robert says the recent video of Obama that was faked was just as scary as Duplex. Yes. Adobe also has developed technology that can mimic your voice by listening to your voice. And so it's designed as an editing tool for you to allow to make corrections in video. And I saw a demo of this first 8 months ago, where you can modify what you're doing. You can even modify the lips. You can even modify the how your lips are moving as you're working with the editing software. And yet pretty soon video is not going to be trustworthy any more than memes are, or photographs and any of that sort of stuff. It's what do they call it? They tell us that we're now in the post-truth generation, and we are. But I don't think we can just give up. So we just have to keep understanding that the potential is there. and questioning everything and demanding that we start to adhere to higher standards. Good. Holly Norman Music, can't wait for the Patreon video. Yes, it should be good. It's going to be something fun. All right. Let's see what's next. Liz said, hi, Nick. Okay. Did some people mention some people that they're doing? Okay. I don't see who you guys want as your voice yet. That's all good. Now, can somebody do me a favor? Liz, I'm going to have to ask you to do this because I'm not sure how it works yet. I'm not asking for people to give me money through Super Chat, but I want to see if it works on this side. I haven't actually received one. Liz, will you give me like $1? I'll pay you back. But I want to see if it works and if I've got all the switches and settings set up for it. Because it's like, at some point it might be nice to make some money on these things. But I want to see how it's working because we haven't tried that before. And while we're doing that, I'm going to get to Natalie's question here. Natalie, when doing a live YouTube chat, not available to do desktop. Sorry. When doing live on YouTube, are chats not available to do on desktop? I'm not sure what you mean. So I am doing this off my desktop system. I'm not doing it off the live. So I haven't seen that. So maybe you can rephrase that question. Our chats. Oh, Liz, you gave me £1. There it is. It works. Okay. Oh, good stuff. Oh, somebody else gave me. Thank you very much. I wasn't actually asking for money, but what's updates? Thank you so much. That's Liz. He gave me way more money than you gave me. But I don't have to pay him back. I don't think. I hope not. I don't know how refunds work on it. But thank you. That's great to know. I think as we do these things going on, I'm hoping that it grows. This grows to the point where it can also be a revenue center for myself. So I'm hoping that can be the case, and we'll see. But that's not really why I was doing. I just wanted to know if it worked, and now it's going to be interesting to see after this webinar or after this live. I'm going to be interested to see how YouTube flows that money through into our account. And I promise I'll do a video on it. I'll talk about it as we go ahead. Because this, as I say, is a bit of a voyage of discovery. So Robert wants Obama to do his voice, which is an interesting one. Oh, and Michael Kinney says, "Here comes Skynet." Let's hope not. Let's hope that we can make a difference. Let's hope that we can make a difference by staying on top. Samuel Jackson. Shane, you are so right. Yeah, that would be a good one. But I think, if he called me, you'd have to do what he told you to do. If he was telling, okay. Nobody commented on my Bobcat Goldthwait one. I thought, choose Morgan Freeman. Yeah, you got all the guys. Except for Morgan Freeman called, I think they'd be wanting to sell me a credit card. That's it, because he just does too many credit card commercials. Or Peter Baelish from Game of Thrones. Oh, that would be creepy. That would be creepy to have him call. I'd get all freaked out. That would be good. But interesting choices. I'd like to. So Skipper Hammond, great name, Skipper, says I'd like to narrate my own novels to create Audible books. You can do that, Skipper. Why wouldn't you? Do you not have? If you're an author, you can certainly do your own narration, and it's easy enough now to set up a good quality audio system at home. So yeah, I would definitely say you could do that. So thanks, Liz, for the money. I'll send it back to you. Thank you very much. And Daryl, thank you as well. That is awesome. Let's go down. So I see. Okay, good. All right. Oh no, you didn't need to give me more. Natalie, while I watch you on this YouTube live, I'm unable to enter a chat question except on my mobile. Oh, really? So you're watching this. Let me just try it here. I'm just going to go onto my notebook because I've got it here. Let me go to the feed here. Oh, there's almost no latency. Wow. Okay, so let me leave it going. I'm just going to mute it here. I've got chat available. Oh, you have to sign into chat. That's probably it. I'm guessing, Natalie, is you might not have, if you're not signed into your YouTube account, you can't anonymously chat. That's probably what YouTube has set up as a protection and a privacy thing. to protect against people being, this chat is very civilized. All of our community, of course, we seldom have any difficulties at all in YouTube chat. But a lot of times there's real trolls and people are really aggressive and quite nasty in chat, especially if you're like a Twitch, in a gaming environment and stuff like that. So they probably make sure that there's you have to sign in order to participate in chat to reduce the level of inappropriate behavior that's happening online. Okay. Michael Kinney, is the Logitech Brio worth the price at versus the C920? What a great question. I like it. I'm really, really happy with the Logitech Brio. Now, sometimes the software is a little bit flaky, at least on my older Mac Pro, is when I go into manual settings, sometimes the color information gets buggered up a little bit. It just gets messed up. But the clarity of the image has been great. It's a much crisper image. And I think our videos look a lot better as a result. And actually, I'd be interested to have Liz's feedback on that because Liz edits all the videos. And so the C920 is great value. And if we didn't, for me, it's worth the extra money. If I was starting out, or if I was just doing Skype calls, or if I was doing the odd, like if it was for business purposes and I wasn't front facing and using my videos as a revenue generation tool, that's part, in looking to kind of up our game at every step of the way, the C920 I would still be happy with the C920. In fact, I still use the C920 when I'm out and running about. I don't travel with the Brio. I don't want to break it. So I take my C920 with me on the road if I'm going. So it's probably not worth 3 times as much for most people. But if you are somebody that's creating YouTube videos, if you're doing lots of webinar work, and you're concerned about light, and you like this wide screen, this is a much wider screen that it's presenting right now, it might be worth the extra dollars. Just like is the pro quality mic audio setup. You could probably barely hear the difference, but for me, it's worth it to know that I'm doing the best I can. Robert, thank you so much, sir. Appreciate the super chat there. Awesome sauce. Okay, Peter. Recently watched your tutorial on forums. Fantastic. They open up so many possible projects. Thank you so much. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Peter. And I expect Google's going to update forums too. They've been updating all of their apps in Google Drive based on the material design format. So we just released a video last week on Google, on Gmail, and we did one a little bit earlier on Google Calendar. They've updated those apps. And I think we're going to see an update of the Google Forms app, which is just for bang for your buck and for different things that you can do with it. It's just an amazing, amazing free tool. If you haven't seen it, check out our video on YouTube, and it's one that we're going to redo soon because it's a really incredible product that a lot of people look and purchase products. They purchase SurveyMonkey or something like that for really small little projects that they could do easily themselves in Google Forms. Good. Robert, Scottish Proud Steve, not sure you can spend it in Canada. I'll try. If not, Shannon and I are planning our honeymoon right now, and we're thinking the UK, we might want to go to Ireland and Scotland as part of our honeymoon. So I'll spend it there. That would be better, wouldn't it? Maybe it's just my desktop because I'm signed in. Oh, Natalie, that's so interesting. Try a different browser, maybe? I don't know. That's if anybody has any suggestions, or I don't know what's going on there, but we'll. I'd like to hear. Keep me informed of if you do figure it out. Okay. Question: where do you find the manual settings on the Logitech C920, Daryl? Okay, Daryl, the C920. Are you in Windows or Mac? If you're in Windows, you've got good drivers built into the Logitech C920. If you're in a Mac, there's almost no drivers to the C920. It just tends to work, and you have almost no manual setting. So we use a tool called Webcam Settings in the Apple, which is available from the Apple Store. It's about $8. When you install that, you have full control over all of your webcam settings for your Logitech C920. We've got a video on it. We certainly covered it in all of our video and all of our it's in my toolkit. If you take a look through the toolkit of the download of the toolkit from the website, it's there. The new version of the Logitech Brio does have drivers that are working pretty well, other than the odd time that they do that color thing. But that's available. It's called Logitech. I think it's called Logitech Webcam is their drivers. But if you've got the C920, yeah, webcam settings, about an $8 investment, well worth it. Well worth it. It gives you total control over getting the color, doing the white balance. You can really improve the quality of the image with the C920 using that. Okay. John, security concerns with Alexa and Google Home. So many, and increasingly. Um, we have Google Home installed here, and we actually just, I guess, the video that Liz is working on right now. Next week, we're doing a video on what Google knows about you, which will give you a good idea. I haven't tested out Alexa myself, so I don't know exactly what information Alexa is going to be harvesting, and I haven't really taken a hard look at that. But the fact that you've got a microphone in your room, I'm pointing back to where my Google Home is here in my office. But the fact that you got a microphone that could theoretically listen to everything in your house, I mean, that is a huge compromise that we're making. But anytime we want to use any of these services, we have to accept that there is a quid pro quo. We have to, if we're going to use unified login from Google or Facebook, or if we're going to use a Google Home, we have to say, is the convenience or the entertainment or the benefit that we're getting, is that a fair exchange for the potential privacy that I'm giving up? So you have to educate yourself on what the privacy is. Now, if we trust that they are only doing what they say they're doing in their privacy and policy statements, then the video that I've just produced that we're releasing next week will give you a real good picture of what your risk you're taking with a product like Google Home, what information they are taking. The thing that caused me fear and uncertainty is if they are harvesting more information or using information in a way that they aren't telling us. And if you're in that side of the conspiracy bucket, which is not, you don't have to get very far into the conspiracy space to believe that that's happening, that's where additional concern comes up. I don't have a good answer for you there. Personally, I think that I'm happy to risk it at this point here because I want to know what's going on and I want to see exactly what's happening and I want to experience in my life. And we're constantly paying attention to it. Shannon, my partner, my wife now, she started getting ads, and we don't think that it was because of Google Home, but she started getting ads for gym instructing stuff. She's a teacher, and she was substitute in one of her assignments. She suddenly started teaching gym for a couple of weeks, and she's never been a gym teacher. So we're talking about it, and then she was getting ads for PE instructors stuff, like tools or lesson plans for PE instructors. Now, she doesn't remember she did a web search for it, but we know we talked about it. So all of a sudden our radar was going off like crazy. And we don't have an answer for that. It was a one-off that had happened, but we're paying attention. We're definitely paying attention all the time. So there we go. So I don't know if I answered your question, but I certainly kind of talked about how we feel about that. Natalie figured it out. Yay! Way to go, Natalie. Props to Natalie. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, I found out that I have to pop out the chat in order to make a comment on my desktop. Okay, there we go. Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Liz, what videos are coming up on Dottotech? Liz, what a leading question. What a leading question. Okay, I'm recording today a Google Keep video. I'm pretty impressed with Google Keep. And I'm also recording a video on Evernote, which is how to use Evernote as a publishing platform, which is how we publish one of our courses. But a lot of people, I think, don't recognize just how powerful Evernote can be. If you don't have your own website, for example, but you want to publish some content, Evernote is a great tool for publishing a blog if you choose to, or especially for publishing like guides and little tutorials and stuff like that. So I'm going to show you how to use Evernote, which you use typically for organization, but instead use it as a publishing platform. Should be a good video. I think it's good stuff. Oliver, quick one for you. You made a nice video on the new Gmail. I have multiple accounts. My G Suite aren't allowing me in the new release yet. Any clues? I'm surprised by that because I also have multiple accounts on my Gmail and it's allowing it just fine. So I'm not too sure what happened. Google has said that they're rolling out new functionality in it over the next period of time. They're calling it beta. So you know what? I'm going to drop in here. Let me see if I can do it. I'm going to drop in. Okay, I got to look it up. I got to put it in here. Just give me a half a second here. Let me find it. Do I have Text Expander loaded? Maybe I don't have text. Oh, there it is. Yep. Let me find this. It is. Here it is. I just dropped a link in. This is where I go to answer all my questions about Google. They've got this wonderful public conversation, Q&A. Now, Google themselves, I don't think that they do a very good job on tech support. Oh, I know they don't do a very good job on tech support, but the community does. Go to that, ask your question there, see if you can find it out there. But the Google product forum is where I go when I can't figure something out. Go there and see if you can figure out what's going on with your email. It's going to be way faster than me trying to figure it out, or you trying to figure it out on your own. John, who needs secret police if you use a Google Home? We don't need it. That's the point. We save money on secret police. There we go. I looked up a price of a hotel in Nigeria. Now I'm getting ads galore. But you looked it up on your browser. That is expected. If you just talk about it in passing, that's what's scary about what we're talking about with Google Home. Michael, I have a Google Home Mini, and I've seen a video where you can change the voice for my iPhone, and I can't find it. Is that available in Canada? I don't know if you can change the voice on it. I haven't discovered that. I'll take a look into it, though. I'm gonna look at that. Home, change voice. If I find something, that sounds like it'd be a cool thing to demo. So if I find anything out about it, it'll be in one of our upcoming videos. That's good stuff. Fernando, love your videos. Good job from Toronto. Thank you so much, Fernando. Okay. It's because the Gmail might be owned by a company or organization. Liz has got some feedback. So the company has to release the new updates to their users. Good point. Elias Rebar, any thoughts on Google Duplex? We did. We talked about that off the very top of the live stream today. Find it terrifying. I'm glad to hear that Google released yesterday. They kind of said, we intend to make sure that there is a mechanism to identify that robot being used in almost any. It's in almost any conversations. So that's the biggest thing that scared me. I mean, the technology itself is amazing, but it's very scary in how it could be abused. But it was interesting. I was down at Social Media Marketing World at the beginning of March, and it was right after Traffic and Conversion, another big conference in the social marketing space. And everybody at Traffic and Conversion, and quite a few people at the Social Media Marketing World as well, were all gaga over bots, especially Facebook Messenger bots, where a bot would reply to you and lead you through a bit of a funnel, either a support funnel or a sales funnel, automatically without people being engaged personally. And I found it. I did a vlog on it. I talked about it on a vlog, and I'm not a big fan of it. I'm not a big fan of where that technology is going and how it's going to be used. I love it from a technical support point of view, but I really don't like it from a community building, real customer relationship building point of view. And I think a lot of people are going to use it in the place of having a relationship with their community. So this sort of a tool does the same kind of thing. I can see the benefit, to book a oil change for my car. I get that. I fully get that. But oh my gosh, it's intimidating to think of how it could be abused. All righty then, let's continue on. Oliver, thanks, my friend. Thank you. Good. It's difficult to keep track of the chat while you're doing this live all by yourself. Just wondering when I'll do my first live. I guess it is difficult. I've been watching a few YouTube lives and seeing how other people handle it, and to determine. I don't think people have an expectation that they're going to have, that they're absolutely going to be, that you're going to catch everyone. I can tell you right now that when people have used the super chat, their question pops up and immediately as identified as unique, revenue attached, that will draw the host's eye to it. So that's kind of one of the ways that you can kind of manage the flow. And in a lot of the other kind of the big live streamers that I've seen, there's a fair bit of that going on. But it's I think it's casual. This isn't like when we are focused on doing a webinar. And when I teach doing webinars, I always teach people to have a producer on with them that's managing the chat, that's identifying to the host everything that's going on. This is far more casual. This concept of this version of live streaming is not as close to live television or live radio as a webinar, which is a kind of a destination view where people have registered to come in, and it's got. I think it has to be more tightly packaged. This can be far more organic. I mean, certainly see, we see people on Facebook all the time doing live streams with their phone, and they're not even really seeing what people are commenting, because how can you follow that on a phone as you're doing it and all that sort of stuff? We used to see with Periscope all the time. So there's already a different expectation, I think, from the community. Now, I'd like to think that if you're doing it on YouTube Live, as we're doing here, that you can probably do a little bit better job of making sure you keep your community engaged all the time. And the first time you do them, Natalie, it's going to be overwhelming. You're gonna feel a huge sense of overwhelm, but you'll get comfortable with it pretty quickly. I see all the people that I see that watch them do them regularly handle this side of it with quite a deal of a plum, quite elegantly, I think. Shane points out, yes, you are correct, Shane. Our cell phones could be passively listening, and it may be a conspiracy theory out there, but potentially listening to our conversations plus utilizing our phone searches. They could already be doing it without home. Yeah, there's so many microphones in our life already that can be listening to everything you're doing. Well, our cell phones are listening. The fact that I can invoke Siri just by talking to my smartphone, or I can invoke Google just by talking to my smartphone, means that is passively listening. It's listening for triggers. Now, it could be gathering what we're saying. No question. No question. It could be. I hope it's not. I really hope it's not. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if Apple or Google got busted for that? Oh. It would be earth-shaking. Yeah. Steve, what do you do about GDPR? Do you think that this will make a lot of mess in the web space, in lost conversation conversions on email lists or in CRMs that we use? Danielle, I am so glad you asked. We just had our meeting this week about how we are handling GDPR. Now, we're fortunate here in Canada. So those of you that don't know, GDPR is the General Data Protection Regulations, I think it's called, that is being invoked in Europe in next 2 weeks. It comes into force, which protects your privacy online, especially dealing with email, especially dealing with sites that you've people who you've opted in or registered for different services with, and how their data is managed by the people who hold the data, the public data, and the protection of it, and the rights that the individuals have to have their data scrubbed from your system and not to be bothered with spam and stuff like that. So I think that GDPR is going to be a top topic for the next 3 months. People are going to be talking about it a lot. It's certainly changed already. We see a lot of major players changing the way they do things. A lot of people think that the demise of Clout is got a lot to do with GDPR, that they couldn't get themselves GDPR client, besides the fact that they were nearly a useless service. That's an editorial comment, sorry. But here in Canada, where I am, we've already had the can spam laws, or the what do they call it? Anyways, we went through this 2.5 years ago. Where we had to really take a good look and enforce double opt-in. And we really had to, as a community, make sure that we were cleaning up our use of opt-in email and CRMs and spam. And I know a lot of social marketers who scrubbed their lists entirely. They just cleaned everything off their list and they started from scratch. And I think that was a mistake. I don't think they had to do that. The spirit of it, if you look at it, is that you should not be sending people something that they don't expect. That they should be aware of what it is that they are getting from you right up front, so that they shouldn't sign up for one thing and then be sent other things. They should have the option to opt out elegantly and simply from any mail list that they're on, and they should also have the option for you to remove all of their personal data from the system. And I might have missed something, but that's pretty much the rule. And I don't know about you, but that's the spirit of the way we've done things. And so I think that most online marketers that really are concerned with building community long-term and more concerned about their community than they are about their sales, they were probably already in shape for it. And the rest of them, it makes them kind of sit up and take notice. There's going to be some people that are going to have to dramatically change their systems, but I know lots and lots of marketers that I've talked to, and most of them are not having to make too many major changes. But the community that I hang with, that I talk with, are people who are like-minded with me and how they manage their communities. so they aren't having to make massive changes. We are changing things. We're changing a few things on like opt-in pages, making, removing check boxes to automatically put people in. There's a couple of technical things that you have to do, but the spirit of what we do really isn't changing very much at all. Hope I answered that. And Liz has commented. Liz is commenting on it. And Liz is a good one because she's probably having to deal with lots of her clients other than us. Peter, I was drawn to Peter's because his first word I love, so I knew it was something positive. I love your videos using Google Drive, forms, spreadsheets, etc. You could also create websites with Google Docs. I've been watching a few videos here about it, and it's really quite intriguing. Yeah, I did look at the Google automatic website creation tool. Very limited, very, very limited. But I think it would work great for really temporary things. Like if you're having a family reunion and you just want to put together a quick page for the family reunion and you don't want a real website, I think Google Sites are perfect for that sort of thing. I don't think it's a real business thing, though. John, will this chat be a weekly event? It's fun and useful to be able to interact easily. John, that is my plan. My plan is to do it. Now, as with all things in Dotto, I will be testing out different ways of doing things. I'm delivering it live today using the YouTube's built-in camera tool. Next week, I plan to use Ecamm and funnel it in and to kind of understand a little bit more of the mechanisms of improving the quality and improving the engagement. But it is my plan to continue to do this once a week. And I will be, as we get into the rhythm. Right now, I'm going to do it on Fridays, but then I'm going to be inquiring what days work best for everybody and get your feedback. One of the beauty for somebody like me doing something like this is it gives me an opportunity to interact with the community. But so much of the success of Dottotech has come from feedback. That's come from you guys, our community, and you give us lots, and you're generous with your feedback in the YouTube channel, in the normal comments. But I was thinking a big part of this is hearing the things that you're most interested in will help us determine our video strategy and our product mix as we move ahead. Hearing exactly what our community wants us to is looking for more from us on, and which is, for me, it's been a big part of our success. So I'm hoping that this channel facilitates that. Good stuff. Moyad, I like your channel. I like you, Moyad. Thank you so much. Ken says thank you, and I appreciate that as well. Could be better than overseas. Okay, I missed what Mitchell was talking about there. Okay. Ken says, can you imagine? Google has been listening to our phones for years. I've left my phone beside my clock radio and got ads for RVs based on the advertising and the phone. I and the phone heard. Really? We don't like to hear that. That's not the way we would like things to happen. Bill from Kansas. How are you doing in Kansas? Peter says, that was using Google Docs, not sites, but thanks for the sites. Heads up, LOL. Oh, okay. So you can publish the docs. Okay, fair enough. I actually haven't looked at the Google publishing websites from docs, just Google Sites. So I'll have to. Title. Did I put up something wrong? I don't know. Let me take a look. No, it should be 2. It's just me. Looks like I got 3. It's Dottotech this week. That's it. If I can put a typo in somewhere, I will. I have a good excuse for it, but I won't get into that right now. It's not that good an excuse. Okay, Niazia, sorry if I messed up your name. Hey, Speddy Dotto, today you speaking slowly and clearly. Please keep it up always. Yes, sometimes I do speak a little too fast. My late father always used to complain about that. And I had taught him on YouTube how to slow down the video, so the audio, so he could hear me more clearly. Yep, 3 T's. They absolutely, Mark. There we go. Well, that kind of brings us to a close, doesn't it? That's a good way to wrap things up, is having messed that part up. Good. Well, listen, looks like most people stayed on with us. We have 80 some odd people on. We did 50 minutes of this live chat. Appreciate you guys all spending the time chatting with me today. If you like this, give us a thumbs up. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't. Share it with your friends. Let your friends know about how awesome Dottotech is. I've got a goal of growing our channel to 1 million subscribers by the end of next year. I don't know if we're going to make it, but I know I can't make it if you guys don't help share and get the word out. So let your friends know. Please share it. I appreciate that so much. And please keep on. Let me know what it is that you want to know more about, what you want to learn about, and keeping these lines of communication open. All right. Somebody remembers me when I did Dotto on Data. Yes, indeed. Indeed, we do. All right, everybody, have a great, great weekend. I'm going to wrap things up now. Okay, end stream down here. Good. Till next time. Have fun storming the castle.